Where have we been?
Oh my gosh. What's up? Welcome to
The Pantry Podcast. If you are very excited because we just popped up on your notifications, God bless you because you've held in and we've been MIA with nothing, just nothing, and we'll talk about that. But if you are new, I am Michelle.
I'm Shay.
This is Shay, and we are The Pantry Podcast, and you'll get to know us brand new, the algorithm and all that stuff. There's always new people joining in, but I feel like this is a new and fresh beginning for The Pantry just because of the long hiatus that we were on.
Necessary and challenging all at the same time. It was one of those things where it's like we need to record and then we don't record because something else comes up or our last year has just been incredible.
Yeah.
With all of the things, local ministry. It's kind of interesting during COVID and all these things, like all this, everyone went online and it was like crazy and it was this big push and we were right there with everybody. Yeah. And then all of a sudden everything drops down, everything quiet down, the dust settles. And here we are, like local ministry started kicking off. Yeah. I got ordained. You guys know that. A lot of people that know us know that I got ordained. So that upped my ante in the ministry.
Right.
So, a couple different things were happening in the last year that really kind of, we wanted to be here and there was challenges to sit here.
Yeah. It feels weird and normal to sit here again.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, it all started, the obvious hiatus, it all started when we needed a new chicken coop. And so take that a step backward. It all started when a fox killed several of our chickens. I don't know what episode that's in, y'all, but we tell you about the fact that a fox took the 1 weak point in our old chicken coop and came in and got so many of our chickens, some of our chickens that had never gotten a chance to lay an egg yet. It was tough. And then Shay began the mental exercise of constructing this amazing chicken coop. And I will edit in a picture of this amazing chicken coop because he did this completely in his own head, research, all that stuff, but then he designed it himself. And then we just had to gun it. And the way to make sure it happens sometimes, especially if you have ADHD or you have any of those proclivities towards procrastination, you just need to order the chickens and then it'll be guaranteed done by the time the chickens need it. Otherwise, it'll never happen. And so what happened was...
we pre-ordered a lot of chickens and didn't have the space.
A lot of chickens to make sure that it had to happen by a certain time. And then it was pedal to the metal and we were building. And I ended up with a lot of health issues, unexpected health issues, just from building this chicken coop. And I was not expecting them for the amount of work I put in. Shay put in so much more work, but we were out there in the rain. We were out there like day in, day out. He's calling out of work to build this thing because we just have to get it done. And so the one thing, right? Hey, we'll just not put out an episode this week. And that put us on don't skip church, y'all, because the same thing's going to happen. Okay. But anyway, so we,
and if you're looking for a church, don't stop reading your Bible, y'all.
Right. Like, don't stop healthy patterns, okay?
Right, there you go.
Because, man, and so we put it off, and then, like, I was messed up, put it off again. And then that was the kickoff, right? And so much has happened since then. And we put out episodes, over the summer, we were putting out some, we were maintaining, but we just kept missing weeks and stuff. So we're going to, for the next couple of weeks, kind of go into some amazing lessons God has been working in us, some observations from the last several months. But this is kind of just a catch up, like, hey, y'all, like in the comments, tell us what you've been up to. And we're going to tell you some of the amazing stuff we've been up to, and we'll dive in deeper to those things over the next couple episodes.
Because, I mean, you brought chicken coop. I wasn't even thinking chicken coop.
I know. I looked at your bulleted list.
That's where we're at. Like, I'm
like,
wow, chicken
he ain't
coop.
even at the chicken
I'm not
coop.
even at the chicken coop because I'm telling you.
That's when I felt
we had a youth ministry that kicked off at the beginning of the year, January 2024.
Yeah.
Big plans, big dreams. And there's, a lot of adjustment in between and learning how to fail and how to succeed.
Yeah.
And really at the bottom of that, having a heart for the youth.
Yes.
And then look, okay, In Full Color Ministries. I'm gonna throw it out there now. I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but In Full Color Ministries was something that was on my mind.
Yeah.
It was a ministry for in full color ministries, like seeing God, right? Seeing God in full color. You know, like when you come to Christ, all of a sudden the world looks better. You know,
It
it's
does,
like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
And we wanted to start in the U.S. and, you know, the nonprofit thing, we stayed away from it. And so we just held it. And then all of a sudden, Pastor Jackson, who's in Kenya, dials up, dials in, and he's like, why don't we just do in full color ministry this year? And I'm like, on top of, hold on. So let's hold on that one. Let's go back to youth, because I want you to comment on the youth. Like, what did you get out of that? Like what was for you?
Well, I mean, like, I know we're gonna go like deep
Yeah.
into these things, but I think that was a new chapter, because it was like your first official I'm a pastor ministry, right? Like before that, we've had life groups, we've had everything, and he's been a pastor for over a year now. So it's not like last year was when he started being a pastor, right? Like I think
It was May of 2023.
Yeah. So I mean, he had been a pastor for like 6 months before we started this new endeavor with the teens. But it was like a different situation. It felt like there was a page turning. People were starting to come into the church that only knew him as Pastor Shay, only knew him as the youth pastor, instead of the people who have been around, you know, before that. So that was a page turner. And then halfway through the year, or maybe two-thirds of the way through the year, you also took on, I might be jumping around, but to me they're related. Then he also took on the male headship role in our 20s and 30s ministry in the church. So there, and it meant something because he was a pastor helping oversee it, right? Which, you know, everything, the word pastor was being used not by us a lot. And so that felt like that was a new chapter. Not necessarily a bad one, just like a new one with,
well,
like,
but
we're more
pastoral
likely-
wife struggles and some things we
like,
can get into.
Well,
but yeah.
more likely, like, you're going to be tapped for things because you're a pastor,
Right.
not just because you're Shay. And so that was an interesting kind of thing to navigate. But yeah, like overall, real life physical ministries where you see the people that you're ministering to and you look them in the eye, that really, it never stopped during COVID, but it just seemed like God had allowed everything to be a little slow for several years. And then everything ramped up, not just our ministries,
Right.
like everyone's
Everything.
ministries.
Oh
Like
my
we
gosh.
haven't
It's
been
been
mask
fire.
up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we didn't mask up, but like this area hasn't been mask up and hiding and away and like hands off for like 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody's coming in
But
quick,
like
though.
last year,
Fire.
everyone hit their new flow. Like people started going back into offices and people start like events that had been canceled for years were finally back. And like,
Yeah,
people,
like my Bible study at work.
yeah,
Back
Bible
on.
study at work was back on
Like, whoa.
finally,
Woo.
you know? So it was interesting, like to become a mom and start making mom friends and start making kid plans during COVID season. And then all of a sudden, like, why does this year seem so much harder to pin people down and like, why does this year seem so much busier? And it's because like I became mom when things were actually quite slow.
Yeah.
And the pickings were slim.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I was like, whoa, there's so much out here to be offered, you know, because now no one's holding back. So it was a
Right.
very, very interesting year.
And then jumping in on homeschool because Kalia finally
Official
kindergarten.
homeschool.
High five.
Yes.
The
Boom.
homeschool mom over there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, and then the Kenya, like I said, back to I didn't want to jump too far.
Yeah.
But then and Kenya was all in there in the realm too. Beautiful blessings coming out, but also challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to secure property, trying to secure the nonprofit in Kenya. That a lot of blessings in that one.
Yeah.
Property was a little bit more difficult. We can always
Dude.
dig a little harder on that one.
The
But oh my
drama.
gosh, it's just like. But now starting to settle down, I was like, we gotta get back on. We
Yeah.
gotta get back into this because I know there's a time and a season for everything. And I know that God works in all kinds of ways. God works in ways that we never even understand. And honestly, in our marriage, working in us. All of a sudden, we're like slow, we're managing. And then it was like speed up. And we're like, okay, we got to do something here because we don't have the capacity at this moment, like back in January, at this moment, to take all of what we're going through and then bringing us into it in a way that's healthy, right?
Yeah.
And so were we all dragged down about the no, but work. We both realized that there was work that had to be done, and it was a new marriage season. So you add all of this up, 4-month hiatus. I mean, but you know what?
Yeah.
The good thing about hiatus is sometimes, they sit there, oh, the algorithms and all these other things, right? And I'm like, whatever. I'm drinking coffee and carrot juice at the same time. It's lovely. I don't care what you say. So I sip a little coffee. I sip a little carrot juice with some ginger in it. I'm good to go. A lot of people might say that's bad. I don't know. It's good for me. So our season was good, right?
Yeah.
In the sense of, I love challenges. Mm-hmm. I love to be challenged. Doesn't always feel good, but I know that on the other side of this, I am going to come out of it, especially and only if I'm trusting in God in all of it, I'm going to come out better.
Yeah.
Right. And so, coming out better on the other side, but going through the challenge at the same time. And trust, man, there was days where, y'all, I didn't want to get out of bed. I mean, let's be real. Whether it's chicken coop drama and not drama, actually that went well, but like, I'm sorry. Sometimes you have spiritual and physical needs, right? It hurts.
Yeah.
And that chicken coop was physical. Like I got as many people as you could to help.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, hold on. And I'm not trying to be prideful here, but trying to explain it. We ran on a deadline. And then me trying to teach and go at the same time, there was impossible.
Yeah.
So a lot of work there, a lot of lifting, a lot of moving, a lot of grooving. And so physical and spiritual and mental health, all having an aspect and play in that role.
Yeah. And I do want to, we're going to dig deeper into some ways that this is all applicable to y'all as well. Because right now we're just like, hey, this is everything that's been going on. And then we'll give you like some cool lessons that you're used to next episode, right? But we've been talking a lot about like, what do we love about podcasting? What gets lost that you love when you start listening to what should happen in podcasting? And I think one of the big things was we didn't start this to have a lot of listeners. And I mean, we definitely have a lot of listeners that we didn't have at the beginning because that's, how it should go technically, right. Just, momentum building or whatever. But there are so many, especially during COVID when everyone was at home and everything was on Zoom and you could plug into a Christian community. Like they don't even exist anymore, half of them, because we're back to like life outside here. But you were talking to people and bouncing ideas. And there were there was this Christian podcasting boom. There was also a podcasting boom. But there was this Christian podcasting boom that happened. And so the competition was higher. I hate to call it that, but like that was a mindset that was floating out there and that can rub off on you. And also all the best practices that everyone's sharing. Yeah. And a lot of the time they're ignoring the elephant in the room. That's Jesus Christ himself and his will be done. And the fact that like, you're going to succeed if he wants you to, and you're going to have as many listeners as he wants you to have. And the people that listen, even if there's only 5, you're meant to be ministering to them in that moment. And, except those kind of mindsets were kind of lost because people were like, yeah, but let's be practical. And here's the numbers. And this is the thing you have to do. And so we were kind of trying to do a little of that. And even that little bit can take a lot out of you. So then when it just went zoom and we were just like not doing anything, we weren't even putting out shows. One thing it did do that was good is it made me not care. I was starting to care a little bit about the numbers. I was starting to care a little bit about like what I name these episodes. And I'm not saying you can't care, but I also just really, we've always been like, let's just rely on the Lord. Right? Like let's just let him do it. So that we have time with our families and with our other ministries and everything. Like, let's just let them work. But also, so I stopped caring about the numbers as much. And so we're coming back being like, if the title is not SEO friendly, fine. We're here for you.
I personally didn't have that struggle,
right?
Because
it was mine. It was mine.
She does that. That's what she does.
Bear, yeah.
So this recording, this video, all of this stuff that's being done right now, she's going to go in and she's going to edit. Yeah. Right. And so I remember like she was SEO this and SEO that and trying to find the right way to drop it and this and that. You know what, y'all? We're going to drop them. We're going to drop them and let God just play with it. And look, I hope it touches somebody.
Yeah, we're going to just have fun with it. Because honestly,
sitting here with my wife is what touched me in the first place. This is how this all started. If you don't know us, if you do know us, maybe you haven't listened back that far. But look, we sat on a couch just talking. And it was beautiful. And honestly, I want to get back to that place where we just have beautiful conversations, where there's not feelings and all this like.
Yeah, it's not,
feelings,
what are
we
people
talk about
gonna
feelings.
think?
Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying like we can talk.
Or right, like we're gonna look less at y'all and more at each other. And we're going to try and do this with excellence. We're always going to try and get better, right? But we're also not always going to be like, well, this is how the game changers in the industry do it. No, it's just going to be us. And if we happen to be similar to someone, cool. And if not, cool, we don't care. And
I will say this though.
Yeah.
When you said that we can start looking at each other, I was so happy.
I know, because
like I'm the worst one. I'm like, I kept looking at her and she's like, you got to quit looking at me.
You got to connect with the audience.
But I'm connecting with you, yo.
Things like that I'm like, okay, fine. Like I get it. But we're doing it for different reasons.
Right.
But the other thing that it did, and we'll kind of, where we'll kind of leave it and transition. We're trying out a few things, and you'll notice maybe some of those things that we try out, but is just the guilt momentum that was building.
Right.
You know? So there's a lot that we can unpack. There's a lot we're going to talk about, and we're going to turn them into lessons that you can apply to your life over the next couple episodes. And then we're just going to keep having fun with it. But, thank you for holding on. Hello, if you are new, and let us know in the comments what you've been up to, because we are used to praying for y'all. So, it's been great. Thank you for listening to the Pantry Podcast this week. Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, all the stuff that helps us get out to more people. We love to hear from you guys, and you can also check out thepantrypodcast.com to see any kind of extras we've managed to put together and get caught up on more episodes. So until next time.
Bye.
Bye.